Okay, we should be live now.
Cool.
Hi, Internet.
Hi, Internet.
Hi.
Hi, Knobs. Hi, Boston. How are
Hi.
you guys?
I'm tired. How are you
Yeah?
guys?
I'm actually pretty okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just pretty okay?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
A lot of games to talk about this week?
Not a lot, and actually just some weird ones. I got in a mood, and I was like, I need to play this game.
I got in a stabbing mood.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
I kind of hate video games, but...
Well, as we established last week, you've had a rough game year.
Oh,
Yeah.
this week went much better.
Oh, really? What did you do?
2015 continues to circle
I'll
the
let
drain.
you know what I attempted to play.
Okay.
Boy.
Attempted. Awesome.
Pro tip for anyone that goes to see live musicals:
Yeah?
if there's pan build in any musical, just be prepared you're gonna see some cock.
Like Pan as in like Peter Pan?
No, like pan, like the little horned and the hooved legs get pan.
The
Okay.
mythological
That
pantsless pan.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense than what I was thinking.
I
was
don't know.
like-
I mean, it could be a real alternative adult Peter Pan.
which I'm sure someone has done.
Probably.
I went and saw Bat Boy the musical, and I don't know, really wasn't prepared to see dick last night.
Yeah.
Are you
well,
ever really prepared for that? And
I don't know. At this
Yeah.
point, at this particular theater, I've lost counts how many cocks I've seen.
Maybe you should not go there.
I don't know. Like,
That's not what
all
you're
right,
into.
and not in my defense, but it's my own fault. I went to go see Hair the musical. I should have been prepared for
Oh,
it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's basically
Stupid
free love
hippies.
the musical.
But Triassic Park, really wasn't expecting
No.
those. And Bat Boy the musical, I thought I was going to be safe.
You're never
Right.
safe.
See that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of a running joke. I'm sitting there and I was like, hey, well, at least we don't have to worry about. Oh, there it is.
Whoop, never mind. There
No,
he goes.
it has made its appearance.
Oh, it's fun. Trying to think. I feel like I played more than I've got written down here, and it's gonna drive me crazy.
You'll remember once we hang up.
I know. It'll be like that moment. I'll go load up the game I'm currently playing and just. That's what it
All
is.
right. That other thing. Oh. Oh my god. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys ready to kick this thing off?
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we have Knobs.
What's up?
And we have the Hannah.
Hey.
Let's just get right into it. Let's not mess around.
All right.
Okay.
Knobs, what you been playing?
Oh, well, normal Monday night game night. A nice group of guys coming out just to shoot each other and talk a whole bunch of gang about video games.
You know,
Yeah.
dude stuff.
What we do on the reg.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time. Please don't be shy. We're online. We're playing that. I know a bunch of people are playing the Battlefield beta or the Battlefront beta.
Yeah.
Which I attempted to try to play at least 3 or 4 times this week, and I just could not connect to a server.
I got into an argument at work earlier this week. By the way, I work at a video game company. Oh god.
You
Sorry,
don't
I'm already
say.
getting spammed. That someone was arguing that it wasn't Star Wars Battlefield. And I was like, that's literally what that game is.
Yeah.
It's literally just Battlefield with
Like-
a Star Wars skin.
I'm trying to think of where there's possibly an argument.
Yeah,
What was his argument?
that it's not. And I was like, then what is
That's
it?
it.
Yeah, and I was like, well, then what is it? He goes, well, it's a Battlefront game. And I was like,
Make a
That's-
more apt comparison.
it's just Battlefield,
Yeah.
just with a front on the end of it.
That was
Yeah.
the whole point of Battlefront in the begin with was it was Battlefield.
Yeah, just a little different, but not
Yeah.
that much.
Just
Thought that
tiny
was
So
little-
instead of
entertaining.
going bang bang, it's pew pew pew.
Right. I'm in space now.
Yes. Lasers. Ha ha.
Lasers.
Yeah, so I attempted to do that. I sat there in the menus for a little bit, listened to some good score, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those menus are pretty sleek looking though. I like the
Yeah.
really white look of them.
Yeah, real clean.
Yes,
Yeah. That was really nice.
Yeah.
it is. So in my hate video games lately, I figured, hey, I downloaded Ground Zeroes. I'm gonna play it.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
So I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
I'm
No
assuming
one does.
I'm assuming that opening scene with the kid with his little headphone jack like poked into his sternum is listening to his heart. And what was the symbolism of everyone collecting their Fox logos and throwing them off out of the helicopter? And then if they're the bad guys and they're Fox, what is Snake if he has a Fox logo? Is it because it's black and not yellow?
No, it's an XOF logo.
Yeah, it's not Fox.
It's not a Fox logo. It's an XOF logo.
I hate you so much.
I know you do. Yeah.
That's
It's explained in the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
It's I would explain it here, but it's a pretty major spoiler for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So
okay.
yeah.
So I did a lot of reading because there's a lot of text thrown at you like right at the rip of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all right, infiltrates the base. I find headphones, kid. I get it. So I scan the perimeter of the area, and there's like 6 dudes working this whole compound, or so I thought.
Yep.
So
It's so much more than that.
I'll get to that in a minute. So you got the 2 guys talk, and you're listening to them. And why isn't the binoculars a toggle? Like, why do I really have to hold the worst button in the world to hold?
What button is it on Xbox One?
RB.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. And then try and click in, like trying to hold RB and click in the right stick to zoom.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
That would
okay.
be rough on that controller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it was gross. So anyway, I gave up listening and marking people. So I sneak up. I take out the dude on top, and I couldn't figure out how to knock him out. And then I'm like, I had enough, and just stab, stab, stab. Leave him up in the thing. So I look around, I scan a couple more guys. I find like 3 more. I break into the compound. I'm sneaking around. I'm doing my best. I really, really am. So I get there. I knock out everyone in this area. So I'm like, all right, I trank this dude. I'm going to throw him in the bushes.
That makes sense.
So I get the guy over. I get him over to the bush. And I figure right trigger will set him down. No,
Whoops.
he takes a big and launches him all the way out into the road. And I'm like,
He like spins around and launches him.
okay. So then I go up, I pick him up, and then now I aim my throw, and then I chuck him in the bushes. Like, okay.
All right, he's in a bush. That's my.
So-
I'm good.
He's in the bush. I'm like, all right, there's another guy in this tower. So, sneak, sneak, sneak. I get up there, knock the guy out in the tower, and then all of a sudden, there's like 2 guys like looking around this bush. I'm like, what? How? What? Number one, where the hell did you 2 come from? And then, all right, so I'm gonna sit here. I'm just gonna watch and see if they go. And like, all right, so they're skulking around and stuff. Meanwhile, as I'm sitting up here watching with the light that you can't see through is so bright. All of a sudden, a dude materializes behind me, and I get the bring. I'm like, oh my god, what? So I turn around, put the boot to him, kick him off,
Nice.
and then, of course, with that ruckus, alerts those 2 guys and apparently a tank.
That's a good combo.
So, in whatever silent running diesel tank that they have at FOX. Sorry. I go down there, I hide in the bushes, and I'm sitting there just kind of trying to wait out the storm. And apparently these guys have X-ray vision because I'm just swatting daylight. So I'm like, all right, fine. You want to play this? I pop up, pop, kill everyone. And then the tank starts cruising around the corner, and I just go hide in a building for a little bit. And then I come out of the building after all the alerts, and what's sitting out front the door?
A guard?
The tank!
Can I blow your mind about something else, too?
What?
You're not fighting XOF. You're fighting American Marines.
Yep.
Hooray!
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get out there, and there's the tank, like, almost like the open the door, there's a tank, close the door, and I'm like, I'm done.
Open the door, the barrel is right there, like, hello.
Yeah, it might as well have been.
Yeah.
But it's just sitting right there. I open it, like, blink. I'm like, close it back up. I'm like, all right. Apparently, this is not my thing.
Yep.
I'm done.
You know, I appreciate you giving it a shot, though. Saying, like, hey, man, maybe this one? Nope.
No,
I really did. And I was sneaky. I was trying to hide bodies.
You gave it the college try.
And then somehow there's a ninja Marine that just ruined my day.
Yep. Better than Solid Snake, this Marine is.
Well, yes. Like, I don't understand it. And, alright, first thing, his head looks huge.
Who's
in,
Snake?
like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like it's scaled to the body model very well.
And that's always been a problem with Snake, it seems.
Like, his head just looks large.
Yeah. The opposite of John Bastow.
Oh, and man, after watching I think I played equal the amount of time watching the lead-in to this area than actually playing it.
That intro is pretty long.
Yeah, they, does that hero shot where he gets up, it's like, kept you waiting. I was like, oh, that's so just horrible.
That Snake's famous line is a pretty lame line.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, that was bad.
Kiefer's delivery is just great.
So, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna download Tales from the Borderlands and hopefully have some fun with games. So that started downloading. I'm like, I don't feel like waiting for this. So I started watching some movies. And next thing you know, like, all right, clicks, it's done. So fire it up. I get into it. And I kind of like this game so far.
It's pretty good.
Why is like I can't figure out why Zero is just banging around, just killing everybody.
I think they've resolved that in episode 1, like by the end of it.
Okay. Now I haven't finished it quite yet. I infiltrated the bandits' lair for the bike races.
Okay.
So I'm in that area where that skag comes out and Zero. Of course, Zero's there and saves the day.
Why not?
And I like the emoji that pops up in his little face thing.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of that.
So yeah, I'm having fun. Not really sure what's going on because I don't know why I thought I was going to be Handsome Jack in this story, but
yeah, I was kind of happy with the first episode because it was a little confusing throughout the first episode, but kind of wrapped up nicely at the end of, in the end of the whole first episode.
Now, are these the two characters you're dealing with the whole way through?
Fiona and Reese? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Reese.
Yeah.
I like Reese. I like Fiona's like kind of, that's what your character should be,
Yeah, I felt like she got better almost immediately after episode 1.
Okay.
The first one seems to focus primarily on Reese, and it's like, and Fiona's here. Come on in, Fiona. It's like, well, I'll see you later. Yeah,
well, I do like the different dichotomy as they're telling the story from two different points of view, and the guys try to suss out which one's the truth.
Yeah,
I like when he's like, yeah. Then they tried to throw me out in the train, out of a moving vehicle, and he's like, all right, you need to stop embellishing. And she's like, no, actually, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and I really like how deadpan
like,
that guy is that's kidnapping you two.
Yeah,
where he's just sort of like,
and
Yeah.
Like, but so I'm playing through that right now. I got it on pause, so I really would like to get back to that and
Yeah.
see where that goes, because right now that's been my only semblance of joy. I'm seriously, like, yesterday, I'm just so bored.
Yeah.
And everything I try to play just seems miserable. I don't feel like going back and hitting the catalog and anything. Because I had an itch to play The Force Unleashed. And then a little more Asura's Wrath. Like, go back to the well to what I know is fun.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, yeah, but then I got to get the 360, and I don't know if any of my controllers are charged.
Probably have a firmware update.
And I'm going to have to wait. And then, yeah, so I solved that by buying a game I have to wait to download. Decision making has not worked out in my favor lately.
But you know what? For me, Tales from the Borderlands is one of the few games this year that has genuinely made me laugh out loud. So I feel like for both of us, it's kind of come at a great time where I'm burnt out on open world games pretty seriously. You have just been having a garbage 2015 when it comes to video games.
Yeah.
I feel like here is a genuinely fun, good-looking, funny game to kind of cleanse the palate a little bit.
Well, I know I need to play something fun to lift my spirits, because I have a feeling that what happened over there? All right, I have a feeling that Life is Strange is gonna be a super downer.
I feel like that. I'm concerned it's going to be a stab in the back.
Yes,
Just for 3 hours.
And I'm just gonna, like, everything's laid, like, all those dominoes are set to be. This is gonna be horrible.
It's gonna be bad.
This is gonna be the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to bring myself to play episode 4. I just can't do it.
Oh, so good!
What do you mean?
I'm still drained from the ending of 3.
Oh, well.
Oh.
I don't know how you're going to make it through the rest of this thing.
I don't know how you're gonna make it through 4 at all, because you
man.
have some moments in there you're like,
I think I've prepped for it pretty well this week, though.
no, you need to get
Yeah.
that done.
Just pull off the Band-Aid.
All right, maybe I'll do that after.
Yeah.
Just do it. Do
All
it.
right.
Do it.
All right.
Knobs,
But-
anything else you played?
That's it.
All right, Hannah. What about you?
Yeah, so as usual, did Wednesday night game night, bunch of Rocket League. We got on fairly early. I ended up coming home from work a little early and hopping on around, I would say 5:30, 6 o'clock, and just, man, we played from then until about 9:30.
Wow.
We got a solid, like, 3.5, 4 hours of Rocket League in, and it was really good. Thank you to everyone who came out. I think we had, between, like, people coming in and coming out, we had probably about 10 people all night, which is a fairly impressive turnout for that night. I couldn't be happier with Wednesday night game night as it is right now with Rocket League. I'm terrible at that game, and yet I'm still having a ton of fun with it.
Yeah.
That's always a sign of a fun game.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's a fun group of people. Y'all know who you are. I'll have to put a list together one of these days with everyone's name on it. But we had Troy Naba in the morning, who's Team is still on the forums. We had Gibby Nader, who's Lance Freeman on the forums. Bill Zaford came out, and I'm trying to think of everybody else. John Connor 333. God, there's so many names. But yeah, everyone who comes out Wednesday, you're all awesome.
Yeah.
Keep coming out. It's so much fun. I look forward to it every week. I played a bit of Deus Ex Revision this week because that hit.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of couldn't help myself because, the law of Deus Ex is that the minute someone mentions it, someone reinstalls it.
Yeah. This turn was yours.
Yeah. So my number came up for reinstalling Deus Ex, and I installed I was really happy with how the mod installs. It's not like every other mod for every other game from 1998 where you have to sit there and unzip files into specific directories.
Copy these 4 files into the GFX directory.
Yeah.
And these 4 files into the bin directory.
Yeah.
So can you give a quick Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I have forgotten how to do that years ago anymore.
Yeah. The nice thing about Revision is that it is a one-click install from Steam, if you have it on Steam.
what's even cooler is Square Enix put their official "It's okay" stamp on it, which helped it launch on Steam.
Is this for the original Deus Ex or Human Revolution?
This is for the original Deus Ex.
Yeah, Hannah, can you? Because this seemed to have released. The development was kind of underground. So could you kind of go over what it does to Deus Ex?
So basically, what it does is it takes it takes it out of 1998. Is what it does. It boosts. You have an option for DirectX 9 and DirectX 10 to use as renderers in the game. So it just sort of ups all the effects and all of the textures and everything. And
cleans it up.
It's a ton of graphical mods. It's a ton of just. There's a lot more stuff in the world in certain places. There's actually a screenshot in Kotaku that really summed it up. There's a point where you're in Hong Kong, and the original screenshot, there's like a couple banners hanging here and there. The new screenshot, it's like neon lights. It's got these crazy, like, the lanterns hanging, and just it looks amazing. It bundles together a whole bunch of different mods and with some custom modifications that the team did.
And you can get this through Steam.
Yeah, it's literally a product on Steam if you own Deus Ex Director's Cut. And
if you don't own the original Deus Ex, I think it's on sale for like $1.30 something right now.
It's stupid cheap, and it always is. Like, I don't think it goes above $10.
Yeah.
So I played a bunch of this, and I like Deus Ex. I really do. It has, even with this mod, there are elements of this game that have aged incredibly poorly.
Yeah.
Specifically the voice acting.
The
voice acting.
I mean,
the voice acting wasn't good then. The voice acting
from 1990, what?
98.
90, yes.
98. It's the same year Metal Gear Solid came out. No excuses. Metal Gear Solid at least has passable voice acting. This has like...
I doubt
we grabbed an accountant to do the main character voice acting.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it...
Denton is riveting.
Yeah, I think you can't compare MGS, which is very much the outstanding voice acting of that platform, to a relatively low budget but well remembered PC game. Because like when that game came out, there was not a lot of budget behind that game, especially PC games at the time.
Well, mostly because Ion Storm was just completely broke.
Yeah.
Because of that whole situation. If you don't know Ion Storm,
because of Ion Storm,
because John Romero.
Yeah.
If you don't know the story behind all that, I really suggest doing a little bit of research into that, because it's
riveting,
throwing money away.
Yeah.
Oh god. The other thing that is always been a little rough in that game is the combat, which is not the main point of the game, obviously, but it actually reminds me a lot of the combat in Alpha Protocol in some ways, because you're waiting for this reticle to dial down to a certain size so you can actually make the shot. And it gets a little frustrating in some spots where it would be, normally I'd be like, okay, I'm going to take out these two guys, and it's like, oh, I missed the first guy. Oh, all right.
Totally dead.
And the nail in the coffin for me this time was the lack of any sort of automatic saving on the part of the game. No checkpointing whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting going back to... it's funny, I feel like if anybody has major complaints with game design in 2015, they should go back and play something from the mid to late 90s on PC, where it's sort of like, you better remember your F5 and your F7.
Oh, in this it's number pad plus and number pad slash. Because,
amazing.
Yeah. It's a completely different control scheme.
Yeah, I feel like you can really respect the last, almost 20 years of game design when you go back and play something like that, where it's like, hey, you didn't save and you died? You're starting the game back over.
You're literally talking about a game that exists before the WASD standard.
Right.
Like, you're talking about a game that has, like, the button mapping works in such a way that it is mapped to basically two different control schemes at once, like they used to back in the day. Like, you have a main button binding and a secondary binding. And so you could control it all with keyboard. And you could switch. You didn't have to use mouse look in this game if you didn't want to.
That's rough.
Yeah. So I went in, rebound all the keys, made it play a little more modern, moved crouch over from X to control because I'm a human being. uh, there's some really wacky key bindings, but like that's something you can change. You can customize that all you want, which is really nice. And actually, the key bindings in this are a lot more customizable than a lot of modern games.
Sadly.
Yeah, which is really sad. I am having a ton of fun with it, but just that I lost literally an hour's worth of game because I walked into an area not expecting a fight and had not saved in a little while because I was just doing like story stuff and like just interacting with characters, like just doing like talking to people.
Yeah.
So I walk into an area and I'm like, oh, I'm dead and on fire. Great. When did I save last? Oh, before I did all the story stuff. Great. I need to walk away. So there's some really interesting stuff in here. It looks phenomenal. The character models for what they've done with them, they still look a little weird, but like it looks incredible compared to like just the original. Like a side by side comparison of Deus Ex, vanilla versus revision is night and day.
Yeah.
So if you have fond memories of this game, I highly recommend revisiting it with this mod. If you've never played it, I still recommend this mod because it's a lot of fun in comparison to the original, and it actually builds in a lot of nice little tweaks that'll make it a little more palatable to a modern audience.
Yeah.
But I definitely recommend like the first thing you do, go in and rebind your keys, and just like go in and set that up, so that you can play it like it's a normal game in 2015 and not have to get used to the like just complete scattershot key layout they came up with for this game initially. Like I don't know who came up with that keyboard layout, but like clearly their fingers were like several inches longer than mine because there's some key bindings I can't even reach.
Yeah, I think when you look back at that key binding, that was the standard.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned X, crouches on X. That was pretty common.
And nowadays, that's insane.
Because it's directly down from S.
Yeah.
Well, and because control would be shoot if you're not using a mouse.
Right. I still think control to crouch is an insane thing to want.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's insanity. I can't I don't want my pinky to do that thing.
No,
that's literally all I've ever known.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to have to take my, I don't want to have to move my middle finger to crouch because I need to be able to move backward and forward at all times.
Right.
I always either use Z or bound one of the mice buttons.
Yeah. That's the only thing I have a problem with here is I have a 5-button mouse. I can only use 3 of the buttons on it because it literally doesn't recognize mouse 4 and mouse 5.
I'm surprised it recognizes 3 of them.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it recognizes the scroll wheel and it recognizes that you can click in the scroll wheel.
That's genuinely
weird.
surprising.
That is, yeah. I bet they'd have to dig down into the guts of the game to make it recognize mouse 4 and 5. So
yeah,
can't really complain there. I was able, however, to use an external program to rebind because the zoom in and the laser sight are bound to the square bracket keys.
okay.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So I took an external program that allows you to remap key presses on your keyboard to buttons on your mouse.
Okay.
And so I just rebound those. So a little workaround is necessary for some things, but you don't really use scopes or laser sights unless you're really... And there's never a situation where you couldn't just reach for those keys.
Yeah.
The game is designed in such a way that you're never in that big of a hurry in combat. And if you are in that big of a hurry in combat, you're probably already dead. So, I had a ton of fun with it. I'm looking forward to playing more of it after I've, gotten over the fact that I lost a good hour a game. So that was good. The other game I played this week, actually after I played Deus Ex, after I lost that hour, I played a bunch of Gravitron 2 on Steam, which is basically just Gravitar.
Oh, okay.
Nice little cooldown. I'm terrible at it. I gotta get used to the craziness of that physics in that game again. But the only other game I've been playing this week, and I've been playing a ton of it, is Diablo 3.
Hey.
I kind of just wanted to see how much better the loot grind was.
That's always how it starts. It always starts with the sentence, I was just curious about... Whoops, there's 5 hours.
Yeah, it was a matter of like, Destiny does some really interesting stuff with loot, and I'm at the point where I should start getting better gear in Destiny so that I can get my light level up and eventually maybe do the raid. Just like I'm at that stagnating point with it, where it's just like, well, I'm at like 214 light. I'm in a weird spot. I've just got to kind of get lucky or grind out a bunch of stuff before I get new gear.
Yeah.
And then I played Diablo, and then I realized, oh wait, there's a way to do gear progression that isn't a nightmare.
Yeah.
There's a way to do gear progression so that it's not like, oh, okay, I have to go do X, Y, and Z to collect marks or whatever I have to turn in to get new gear to raise my light level. And then I just...
Diablo just dumps gear on you. Just a pile of gear each and every time.
And the best part about it is I rolled a Demon Hunter.
Naturally.
Because I wanted to try that out. I've never played a Demon Hunter in the game before. It's a lot of fun.
It really is.
It's a really great class.
Yeah.
I had, on my Barbarian, I had maxed out the Blacksmith. And I forgot that carries over to different characters. So I roll in. I've got like 21 million gold.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know where that came from.
I almost think they gave a bunch of gold in some patch at some point.
It had to be. I know I got a ton of gold at one point because I found one of those golden like portals.
Yeah, one of the goblin portals or whatever it is.
Yeah. Which was I know I got a ton of gold from that, but I didn't realize how much I had. Like I basically have infinite money in this game.
Yeah, until you start combining gems, then you're like, where did my money go?
Yeah. But with a low-level character who has a maxed-out blacksmith and I think a maxed-out jewel crafter,
it's awesome.
This game gets super crazy because I was literally like, oh, I can just jump to like master difficulty.
Yeah.
And I'm like level 30. I'm not even out of Act 1.
Yeah. It's amazing because you can just like, oh, now I'm going to double my experience and I have 10 strength, but I'm going to put in a gem that gives me 300 strengths, and I'm just one-shotting bosses. This is amazing.
Yeah, now I've got a gem in my helm that gives me 37% extra experience.
Yeah.
I've got a chest piece that gives me like 300 some odd dexterity, and a pair of greaves that gives me like 300 some odd dexterity due to gems.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling stuff.
It's fun.
It's finally, because I bumped up the difficulty level, it's finally getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to switch gear here. I crafted the Cane set, the Deckard Cane armor set.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so it gives you some really cool set bonuses, but it's like level 22 and I'm already level 30. So I'm starting to gradually level out of that.
Yeah.
And I also have a level 19 bow that is just absolute like chaos. It's like it's so much fun. This game is amazing. If you don't own this game, like, and it's better on console. Like, I'm willing to say that. I prefer the controller control scheme to the whatchamacallit, the mouse and keyboard control scheme in this game. Like,
I just
100%.
can't believe they made it work on a console.
Yeah.
Like, with the controller and control scheme and managing... I don't prefer one over the other, but I think it's a miracle that we can look at a console version of Diablo and not be like, it's good except for, the controller.
It's just good. It's just a lot of fun. And for some reason, I can't get Destiny to work over remote play unless I'm directly in front of the console. But I seem to be able to get Diablo to work no matter what. So, like, me and my wife will be sitting downstairs. We've been watching Community and Silicon Valley a bunch lately. So, we've been playing. I've been playing Diablo while watching Silicon Valley and Community. It's just been an absolute blast. So, if you haven't picked up this game and you liked previous Diablo games, just get it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, there's no reason not to get Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like loot-based games, I feel like It's one of the best examples of how to really well balance a loot-based game. So you're getting, you're never getting too much loot, but you're kind of getting enough loot at a good enough clip where you're kind of, you have to go back to the town enough times to get rid of loot, and you're upgrading stuff. And there's a good cycle to, you know, going out for a while and then going back to town and getting rid of your stuff and repairing and going back out. The loop there is really satisfying.
Yeah, and I like the one change they made. You don't actually have to buy health potions anymore. You
Right.
just have an infinite stock of them, and there's a cooldown on it.
Yeah.
Which is, that's amazing. I love it.
Because, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. When I first read it, I was like, I don't know if I like that at all. But it makes sense that you can't just go get through content by mashing the health potion button. Like, if you need to use a health potion, you're kind of not well geared enough. Like, you shouldn't be doing that content. So,
yeah, or you shouldn't be in melee range when you should totally be in ranged range.
Right.
Which is part of my problem right now. The way my skills are set up, I jump in and then I jump way out.
Oh, right.
So I start with, like, I drop caltrops that slows them down, does some damage. I have, I think, Fan of Knives, which does just, I got a rune that makes it do 1600% weapon damage.
Jeez.
It's just in like a 360-degree circle around you. And then I leap out, doing 4 critical hits to 4 random enemies, and then I start rapid firing.
It's so funny because you're playing the Demon Hunter. At every point, it's exactly opposite of how I've been playing it.
Yeah.
Where it's just, I want to kill stuff from as far as possible and do as much damage from far away as possible.
You should have seen me play Hunter in World of Warcraft. I did the same kind of stuff. I'd get, like, real close and then kite.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's basically my tactic.
You're a madman, Hannah.
I know. I don't play it as, like, oh, I'm just going to stand back and shoot stuff. No, I play it as, all right, I'm going to get these things in a line behind me, and then I'm just going to wreck them. I'm just going to train them around to an area where I know there's no other enemies.
Yeah, I played it a really similar way, whereas I would bait them in, drop the claptrops, and then just backflip back, and then just waste them.
Yeah, and I use the evasive shot as my main shot on X, so I'm backflipping back repeatedly when I need to recharge my my hatred. You know, when I've drained it on rapid fire.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other one I have is multi-shot, which if I see a big wave of enemies and it's all, like, relatively weak, I'll just hold that down and burn a bunch of them down at once. So it's been really fun. The only complaint I have is I do have to swap my button mapping when I go to the Vita, but it takes like 2 seconds, so I can't even really complain about it. Like, I just moved rapid fire to R1 and multi-shot to R2.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. Oh god, I just know I'm gonna end up finishing this game again.
Yeah. Well, and the great part about rolling another character is it takes you virtually no time to finish the game. Now, because of all that stuff you're talking about earlier, you just mow your way through that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really excited. And, like, I can just build, like, as I level. Actually, I should check that now. I've leveled up so quickly, and I go, like, I get, like, 8 levels before I go back to town.
Oh, you probably have so much better gear.
Yeah,
that you
like
can make.
I can just go build a bunch of stuff and, like, give all my old stuff to my my partner.
Yeah.
Or the follower. I've gone with the scoundrel for now because with my barbarian I always rolled with the Templar.
Oh, interesting.
I set him to do, like, a bunch of healing and, like, you know, all that sort of stuff. And with the scoundrel, I've got him set to do like damage over time and, like, slowdowns.
That's so funny because, like, when I'll pick a follower that complements my class. So, like, for Demon Hunter, I'll pick the Templar and have him do, like, aggro generation and rushing in. So he'll get in there with the enemies and distract them, and I can kind of clear them all out from a distance.
Yeah, I had the Templar for a little while, and I was like, oh, this is nice, but, like, I want to be able to get in there and then get out without him, like, wiping the whole group. And, you know, it just makes more sense to me.
Well, it's neat that there's enough wiggle room in the game's systems that you and I can play the same class very differently and still be very... It's not like, okay, you need to have this skill on that one and put this rune on and then that one, and then you're fine. And that's the only way to play it. You know, we can play the same class two totally different ways, and we're still both successful.
It's just, it's too much fun, man. It's too much fun. But, yeah, I'll put that down for a few hours this afternoon and get my way through Life is Strange, finally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And just,
good luck.
And just make myself sad.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
But you'll be sad together.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You'll have someone to talk to about
it. My demon hunter.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm a little down.
Hey, demon hunter.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
I played a little bit of Destiny this week and got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah?
So I now have successfully been through the entire raid.
Ooh.
The new one, King's Fall. Boy, that one is really good. That to me is on the same level as Vault of Glass.
Really?
I think it's a little bit... It's kind of tough because I'm going to exclude Crota's End from this conversation because it's easy, and you can clear that pretty easily even solo. So its design, I feel, isn't nearly as strong as the other two. Where King's Fall differs from Vault of Glass is they're both very mechanics-based. You know, you're going into a fight, you have a specific thing to do, everybody has their own job. The thing that's different about King's Fall is if you as an individual player don't do your job, the raid becomes much, much, much more difficult, or you can't finish that encounter. I don't think it's to the point where it's a bad thing. You know, it's not to the point where, you know, I hope nobody misunderstands. It's not that you miss a shot or two and then everybody wipes because you're terrible at Destiny. It's more like you have to go into this spot, and when the boss does this thing, you have to do this thing that will allow this other player to do this thing, so then you can do damage. You know, it's very much... You know, I accidentally wiped the group once because I totally screwed up a jump to get on this platform that another character would have to do, like, this platforming section to go get this thing. And I didn't really, you know, screw up completely, but it's the thing where, okay, I didn't fulfill my role in the fight, so, you know, we had to wipe. Well, I did it the next time, but I think that makes it a lot more interesting because at its core, they designed it as a 6-person raid. I know there are people that are doing certain encounters with less people, but for almost the entirety of the raid, you have to have all 6 people. You might be able to get through with 5 at certain points, but because of how they've designed it, you have to have 6 people the entire time. And it's just really well designed. There are a lot of really good boss battles that are really hard, that have specific rules to the encounter for each and every one that you haven't run into before, but they make sense once you break them down and once you start getting experience into them. They're not totally alien, but it's not going to be this thing where you run into a room. It's not like a strike where you run into a room and there's a boss over there and you just pump him full of bullets until he's dead and hide behind stuff. You know, a lot of the encounters are drawing you out of certain areas. They're splitting you up to have you come back together to do damage. It's a lot of really, really cool stuff. So as a result, I got the Touch of Malice gun. It's
cool.
You have to do a whole quest chain that has taken me weeks and weeks to do. It's a crazy gun. It's a scout rifle that has 11 shots. Once you get down to the last shot, you have infinite ammo, but every shot takes some of your health.
Oh, wow.
So, and it does more damage on that very last bullet. So if you're really great, or at certain points in the raid, you can kind of balance your health and your damage and just output some crazy damage. But you get some enemies shooting at you, and you'll probably die.
That is a crazy looking gun, by the way.
It really is. I don't know if you can see the animated version, but it kind of, the middle of it has parts that spin around this like black beating heart.
They're doing sort of a gyroscope thing with it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not super useful, obviously, because you're trying not to get hurt more often than not. But it's kind of neat, and it's also a really neat trophy for finishing the raid. And it's not like the the weapons from the first 2 raids where you're trying to finish it on hard mode and you will hopefully get it dropped. You know, you're guaranteed if you go through this set of steps and then kill all these raid bosses and then go build it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a much better way of doing it.
I think so. That's such an interesting balance with that gun. Just such an interesting little risk reward that they give you for accomplishing something like that.
Yeah, and that way it never feels overpowered. Because you can't just go and dump a gun that has infinite ammo and does double damage. It's going to kill you at some point.
Yeah.
And if you don't watch your health, it will kill you very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So I thought that's really interesting. I got the Sleeper Simulant, the now famous Destiny gun this past week. That you can thank Game Informer that quest chain was a little bit less exciting than it could have been. But man, that gun is super cool. It looks nasty, it sounds crazy, and it does so much damage. There are people bringing it into the raid, and they're critting a boss for 76,000 damage per shot.
Wow.
I mean, it is just mowing through stuff.
It looks like it came out of a Deus Ex game. Like, it looks like it came out of, like, Human Revolution or Mankind Divided.
Yeah, the story behind it is pretty interesting. And if you look at the gun, at the barrel, it's actually held together by zip ties. And
That's amazing.
It's this. I won't spoil the storyline stuff for people that care about the history of guns in Destiny, which is probably only one other person other than me. But it was kind of fashioned hastily, and I like that little touch of the zip ties. I have to give a shout out to Death2K and Bilsiford that joined me for the Black Spindle mission this week.
Yeah.
The exotic version of Black Hammer. We got it. We did it,
nice.
guys. First time we almost got there, and we missed it by a couple seconds. And then the next time we did it, you have 10 minutes to clear out all of the enemies, including a really hard boss in this dungeon. We did it with over a minute and a half to spare. I mean, we just SEAL Team 6, like, straight through that thing, just cleared house. That gun is awesome. It's really great. It is Black Hammer, I mean, with the exact same stats.
Yeah.
But man, the impact on that thing is just brutal.
Wow.
I also have to give Dude Since 85 a shout out too. He helped me get my first exotic sword, which is also just a murdering tool. So I got a lot of stuff done in Destiny this week.
Nice.
A lot of exotics put in the collection. And then Iron Banner came around, and I said, screw Destiny. What the hell?
Yeah.
Iron Banner, you're the worst. So, not a lot of fun.
So, how much life do you think Destiny has left with you?
I was asking myself that this week. I'm not gonna be playing nearly as much Destiny, because I feel like I've put a lot of time into it over the last couple weeks to kind of go through and do the raid and get all these weapons and go through all these quests. And it's not that I'm burnt out on it, but I really don't want to be burned out on it. So I'm gonna be, I played a lot of 2 other games here. And especially since we're getting towards the end of the year and we're gonna have to start building our top 10 lists. I can't put Destiny on my top 10 list, so I have to have other things that aren't Destiny.
Yeah.
And I hear that there are other video games that are pretty fun, so I figured I'd try some of those.
I'd be curious to find out what those are.
Yeah. You tune in on December something, to hear our top 10 list. Yeah, I don't know. There's always a ton of stuff to do in Destiny, but I feel like I've gotten all the exotics I've wanted to get. I ran the raid. I don't know if I'm going to run that every week. My raid group is on the East Coast, so they start at like 5 p.m. my time, which does not always work for me. So, I don't know how much I'm going to... I don't know how much I want to grind in year 2 of Destiny. I might get in and play every once in a while, play some PvP. I still enjoy non-Iron Banner PvP. My wife and I have been playing Destiny a lot because she's going through some of the longer quest chains now that really need 2 people. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much other stuff I have in my pile, like I should play Wolfenstein. I hear that game is pretty great. Yeah. I could, instead of spending 8 to 10 hours in Destiny, I could just bang out an entire game. So, certainly not burnt out on it, but need to experience all the games that my pile of shame has to offer that I've already purchased and need to play.
Yep.
So, one of those other games I've been playing is Tales from the Borderlands. Last week I talked about episode 2. This week I finished episode 3 and 4, so I'm all the way caught up. Holy crap, guys. This game is outstanding.
Really?
I wanted to hate this game. I will tell everybody very honestly, wanted to hate this game because it's a Borderlands game that is not a first-person shooter. I really don't think the pre-sequel is very funny at all.
Yeah, no, I just enjoyed what I played of that.
Rubbed me the wrong way from minute 1. I am not crazy about Telltale's release cadence. I'm a super not fan of them making fun of their release cadence in intros of episodes, which is not funny at all, guys. Do a better job. But man, this and Life is Strange are in of the same quality for me, I think. Life is Strange for me tells a really good mystery and is a good slice of life. And is a story about 2 characters that are very close to each other.
Yeah.
Tales from the Borderlands is a great Borderlands game, and it's genuinely very, very funny, and it looks amazing, and it's telling like 3 good stories at the same time. It's telling the Reese and Fiona are getting kidnapped story, which is great. It's telling the Reese and Fiona are, the in-action story. And then it's telling we have about 50 people wandering around with us story, which is super great. There's a character in there that I know Knobs hasn't gotten to yet. I think you encounter it in episode 2. That's now my favorite Borderlands character.
Really?
It's some of the funniest voice work and some of the funniest writing, seemingly accidentally. Coast Jamal in chat says, how Telltale is it, game-wise, not release date? It's a Telltale game. Yeah. It's the same game they have made. I watched some footage of the Minecraft story mode. That's a Telltale game, too. You know what you're getting into, but I think its real strength is Telltale has taken the Borderlands universe and has told a really interesting story within it that isn't, go do this mission and it will be a self-contained story like the first-person shooter Borderlands games do. And it's telling a really good story over the probably 12 hours I've spent with the first 4 episodes. And I'm genuinely excited for it to come out this next week. I'll be playing Life is Strange first because that's a no-brainer. Yeah. But as soon as I finish that, I'll be playing episode 5 of Tales from Borderlands, and I cannot be more surprised that I'm enjoying yet another Telltale game, and it happens to be a Borderlands adventure game, and it's so good.
Well, I think that was one of the things that I always enjoyed about Borderlands the most was the adventure of exploration and, like, Like, yeah, the guns, yeah, that's fun, and the over the top moments, but it was just exploring those environments and finding all the little nooks and crannies. What I enjoyed most about Borderlands,
Mm-hmm.
and this seems to be putting you into another like subculture within that world.
Yeah.
Well, and to add on to that too, I think the interesting thing that the writers are doing is, I think, number one, they planned out this story very, very well. It seems like they went through and they wrote the entire thing and got it solid very early on, because the interplay of story revelations between modern day Reese and Fiona and then the story that they are telling Reese and Fiona is really interesting. It gets more interesting as it goes. But I think they also treat Pandora as a character. Like, Borderlands 1 and 2, you're on Pandora, and boy, it's really weird, guys, right? Psychos. But I think, that reminds me too, they have you do some really disgusting stuff in this game. Really, really gross. To the point where it's so gross, it's really, really funny. And Knobs is going to run up to one, I think, at the very beginning of episode 2, that I'm really excited for you to encounter. And there's one in episode 4 that is just really gross and really, really great. And I think I'm surprised that it's a really solid game, and it's really, really, really good. And Coach Jamal in chat says, do you plan on playing the Telltale Game of Thrones? I don't care about Game of Thrones, so no.
I played the first episode. It's okay.
I heard it was fine.
Yeah. It's nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends when season 6 starts. How into Game of Thrones at that point I am.
Yeah. And the last game I played is I have finally gotten into The Witcher 3. I finally get why I shouldn't have quit at the point where I quit last week, because the next thing I was gonna do is the part of The Witcher that I really like, which is a Witcher contract. Which is basically, hey, there's this crazy monster you need to go kill, which is fine, but it starts off with, hey, I'm going to be a detective, and we're going to find out where this thing's lair is, and we're going to find out how to get its bait, and we're going to find out where it's been and what it's doing. I think that stuff is super cool, and I just did another one before we recorded, where I had to find out someone had a ghoul was haunting a well, and you had to find out not only what the ghoul was, what type it was, how to get rid of it, how to fight it. I think that stuff is super cool.
Yeah. It's like the Assassin's Creed 1, like going after a target stuff.
Yeah, very much, but also kind of like some investigation stuff almost from LA Noire, where it kind of gives you an area and you have to figure out, okay, well, there's some bloodstains over here, and they go over here, and it leads me to this thing. Okay, now I'm going to research this thing, and then, oh, okay, that's what happened to this person, and then that leads me to figure out how to banish this ghoul, and then go kill it, and then the village is safe.
Yeah.
Coach Jamal in chat says Heart of Stone is great. That's the first DLC that came out for it. I've heard that too, and if I enjoy The Witcher by the time I finish it, I'll probably be picking that up.
Nice.
I'm playing the PS4 version, and man, that new patch is really good. No frame rate issues. Game looks fantastic. Still have nothing but problems with super tiny text. I have just moved closer to my TV and sit on the floor now, which is great. Super happy that's option. I compared the large UI size to the small UI size. The only thing it doesn't change is the font on anything. It basically makes like the mini-map and the health bar and stuff like that bigger. Which is fine. That stuff is important, but I also would like to read things when it says, go read this bestiary item about, a lich, because you'll need to know how to fight it. I can't read that. It's so tiny. And it's also gray text on a black background. I can't read that.
No,
please help me. So, other than that, Witcher 3 is really good, and I'm kind of not treating it like an open world game. Like, Hey, lay down. It's my dog for anybody listening at home. You're going through, and I know a lot of the side quests in this game are really great, but I'm trying not to. You can go into a town and there's like 4 people with exclamation marks, and it's like, hey, come help me clean my house. I don't know, goblins, whatever. I'm trying not to do so much of that stuff. When you're wandering around, there's stuff to pick all over the place. I'm trying to skip a lot of that stuff. I don't want to turn this into Red Dead Redemption, where it's like, ooh, a flower. Oh, flower. Hey, cougars.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. So I'm trying not to do that. I feel like I'm doing okay with it so far. I feel like I'm not really hampering myself in the game so far, but we'll see how long that will go before I say, oh, maybe I should go do those side quests, because I'm so underleveled. I can't do anything. So far, probably not telling anyone anything surprising. Witcher 3 seems pretty great.
Nice.
But that's all I'm playing, so let's take a break.
Cool.
Dog, you need to shut up. I don't care.
I can't even hear it.
Yeah, her subsonic whining is awesome.
Aww.
Yeah, my wife left, so now
want some
she's super sad. Aw, it's a tough life.
Want some attention.
Yeah.
Scritch's ears.
Yeah, if you want to hear her baying, I will go touch her ears.
Oh. Alright, I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
Alright.
Oh, come here. Come here, boys. Yeah.
What's up, Sam's?
For releases this week, I didn't put what platforms the last 2 games are releasing on, because they're just episodes of current games.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody really... If you're interested in playing that whole season now, like, you can probably figure out where to pick it up. Plus, I think Telltale games come out on iPad and Android devices now and everything, and I'm not going to list 8 things.
No. Here on your new Nexus phone.
Yeah, on the Amazon Fire gaming TV.
Did you see the poster for Star Wars?
I just saw it before we recorded. It looks like a Star Wars poster. Looks pretty okay.
Did you see what was in the background?
No.
The crazy Death Star that's in the background?
No, hold on, let me...
It looks like it's got spikes.
Well, now I'm interested. Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that thing now. As if I wasn't excited enough, you know?
Yeah, I'm just kind of excited about this movie overall. I'm trying not to get too excited, because then I feel like it won't live up to my own manufactured expectations.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, as far as expectations are concerned on my end, because it's more Star Wars.
Well, and for me, I feel like it's one of those movies that will be really good to see in the theater. Like, the special effects will be really great, the sound is going to be good, like, it's a spectacle.
That's gonna be a pain in the ass to see it in the theater, though.
Well, I'm going to wait for a while.
Yeah.
There's you know,
I don't have a choice. Like, if I don't see it right away, I'm never gonna see it in theaters. Babies
I don't know.
show
To me,
up,
it might be
like,
one
oh,
of
God.
those Sunday morning movies. You know, like the very first showing, Sunday morning, there's not a ton of people, get the cheap price.
Yeah.
Well, you can trip over any theater around here. Like, I'm not a theater snob, so I will definitely go see that at the crappy little Brunswick theater that we have.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's almost never has people in it. I think I saw Ant-Man twice with like a total of 8 people between
So
2
good.
showings.
Yeah.
I saw you cross out that one news story.
Yeah, I feel like we have enough news stories, and that one is kind of just pot stirring.
Yeah, that one's kind of bullshit because they do a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah,
You know,
I
that's-
put that in there just as, oh, here are things we could possibly talk about, and then it's
Pared
just
down
catty.
from there.
But no, it's catty in the point that they know everyone's doing this just because it's an easy cash grab.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with development or new IPs.
Well, it's funny too. So the news story for everyone watching the video of this is EA is saying that remakes happen when you're out of ideas. The thing though is they're just sick of everybody asking for the Mass Effect trilogy on Xbox One and PS4, which would be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be great.
I don't think anyone would really complain about that coming out.
Yeah,
That
you
would
put
sell
all that stuff up,
gangbusters.
you make it 60 frames, you put all the DLC in there, and everybody would be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, I'm just looking through the list of games that have come out this year, and I'm like, oh, gotta play that. Oh, gotta play that.
so
Yeah, we're
Overlord's
really
only coming out for the
screwed
PlayStation 4.
What's up?
Which game?
Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell. Let me see if I can find Overlord. What is it called? Fellowship of Evil.
Yeah, it's coming out on PS4.
Yeah,
Oh,
but is
I
it
know
coming out for
that.
anything else? Oh, it's coming out on Steam. Let me
And
look here
Xbox One.
when. The 20th. Okay, so it's coming out for all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been having a really hard time. I gotta find a better place for releases than Giant Bomb's page. I can't find
I generally
a really...
use that. I generally use that list I just posted in Skype.
Yeah, but they're not accurate either.
Really?
Yeah,
They've
there's
been
a lot
fairly
of
accurate
stuff
for
that's
me.
on there missing. That's like, but a lot of the stuff that's missing on there is like super indie Steam stuff that we've been following for a while. That is, they get it later, but not always.
Fair enough.
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna grab some tea. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, fuck my knees.
You're fine. Go to sleep.
Oh, Sword Coast Legends comes out too.
Scuttle. That cat down there crying.
No.
Escape again, did he?
Oh, Boston, I forgot this funny story. So, you know, I have that project I sell in Columbus every year. And
Yeah.
I went down to visit them on Tuesday. And I was like, hey, I'll take the guys out to dinner. And there was this steakhouse that was within walking distance from the Quality Inn. So I figured, it's like, all right, well, I think this will be fine. So only like 5 of them wanted to go. I'm like, all right, fine. So we get up to the front door, and it's there's a big sign. It's like, must be in proper dining attire. I'm like,
Oh boy.
huh. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
And so I walk in. It's me and like 5 black dudes. They're all in like our Holland hoodies and stuff, and you know I have my like little like I'm dressed up, I got my tie on and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's like, and he was like, so what do you mean by dress attire? I had my hat on too. He's like, oh, you just can't wear a hat. I'm like, alrighty.
Oh, easy enough.
Table for 6. I'm like, okay. So we sit down there and look at the price of the menu. I was like, whew, this is gonna be pricey.
I was not expecting these prices.
I don't know if you're familiar with this. Apparently, it's a very well-known and very expensive chain restaurant called Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Yes.
Had no idea what I was walking into.
Oh boy, you now know what Ruth Chris is.
And you know what? It was delicious.
I've heard that it's really great, but so frickin' pricey.
So we sit down, and you know, of course, they all get appetizers. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'll get the lobster bisque and blah blah blah. And I,
Yeah,
you know,
treat yourself a
everyone gets a steak except for one person. Got the Maine lobster.
Oh no.
And I look at the menu, market price. I was like, oh,
That's even worse.
fuck. So this comes out. It was the biggest lobster I had ever seen. Like it was.
It's a bus.
It was this big.
Jeez.
And then on top of it, he didn't even like it.
Oh.
Oh,
So-
say hi, buddy.
Hi, Cooper.
So anyway, so we sit down, we're eating, and so I've never experienced, like, they actually bring the plate to you, is like 500 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So it's still sizzling on the plate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So like you cut your meat up, and then you flip it over, and it heats the other side too. So
Yeah.
it's like you get this really nice hot piece of meat. But man, it was awesome. Like there were like 5 dudes that have probably never been in. I felt like that scene in the Blues Brothers, like wrong glass, sir. There's a whole bunch of snooty white people over in this corner, and they're over this corner. And I was like, Tom's like, "Hey, so did you take the guys up to eat?" He's like, "Well, yeah, about that."
Funny story.
You know, he's like, "Well, how much did it cost?" I was like, "Well, after tip, it was about $460." He's like, "What? How many people?" 6? He's like, "What? Where did you go?" I was like, "Well, it's this place called Ruth." And then one of the guys goes like, one of the other guys, he's like, you didn't take him to Ruth Chris, did you?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the name of it."
Yeah, that's the
He's
one.
like- He's like, "Why would you pick that place?" Tom, it was within walking distance of the Quality Inn.
Yeah.
Like,
I did not know.
so we were already there. We had just walked here, so I figured, fuck it. So, yeah, it was pretty. It was really good. Like, I would definitely go back to that place. It was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was better than that Stockyard place I ate in Tennessee. It's better than Delmonico's in Cleveland.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta figure out why one of my cats is howling downstairs.
Okay. But yeah, so I took 5 roughnecks to a very high class steakhouse.
Nice.
That was pretty funny.
Love doing stuff like that.
I had fun.
Yeah.
Give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on my card. He's like, "Would you put it on a company credit card?" I was like, "Nah, I left it in the car." Fuck you, pay me.
Nice.
Well, shit, he still hasn't reimbursed me for the that 16 port switch I had to buy on the fly,
Ooh.
or the fucking engine I bought for my truck.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
That's,
so
a little bit of reimbursement needs to happen there, I think.
yeah, he's into me for probably about $2,800 right now.
Wow. Yeah. That's,
All right.
That's not
He's
good.
just down there howling.
I
Awesome.
need to get reimbursed for, but
All right, you guys ready to finish this thing?
Yeah, give me 1 second to take my dog's leash and harness and stuff off. Oh, there you go, buddy.
Sweet freedom.
no,
Better.
lay down. I don't need you clawing there. That's
All
not
right.
cool, bro.
Alright, go. Oh, now he wants out, of course. Go.
Just
Yeah,
lay
there's
down.
shit everywhere. Alright.
Lay down.
Yeah, my wife texts me like, "Hey, I gotta bring the dog back because my sister-in-law, she's over at her parents, and her sister brought her dog without telling her, and they hate each other,
Dog
like
fight.
straight hate. Like Cooper would die if this dog got a hold of it. And so she dropped
probably
him
not
off,
the
and
desired outcome.
suddenly I hear Cooper barking. I'm like, I didn't know he was even fucking here.
Hi, Scotty. Are you okay now? What happened to your
All
side?
right.
Did you get in a fight with your brother? Do you want to say hi to the internet? Your doofy face. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hi, Scuttle.
You are so a cat person.
I really am.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Got a long nose. He's got an overbite. His eyes are too small for his skull.
Oh.
Oh shush. Big baby. Hey, don't attack the dog. You're being a dick right now.
Don't do that poor little guy. He's curled up right there. Is he wearing a vest?
Who?
The dog.
My dog?
Yes.
Oh,
your
she's
dog.
wearing a shirt. So my dog had a recent. Okay, so here's the thing. I wish I was making this up. My dog had a recent breast cancer scare, so we had to have a large amount of her insides removed. So she has a really gross, huge scar on her stomach that is still sewed up. So we have to put a shirt on her.
Okay.
Since she's a basset and she's so short, we can't put a cone on her because then she can't walk because she can't understand because she's dumb to hold her head up. She holds her head down and it hits the carpet. When that happens, she backs up and tries again. So she's like backing up through the house. So she gets to wear a shirt.
I legitimately thought when you said, "Oh, she's wearing a shirt," you were just going to end it there, no explanation. I think that would have been way funnier.
No.
No, but no. The part that's funny is like, what? My dog? Like, my dogs are in shirts.
I don't know. I didn't know if Cooper was back on camera. I don't know.
No, he left.
I was playing with a cat.
It's weird enough for a dog to be clothed to begin with.
It's true.
It's like, you wouldn't assume it's which one has a shirt on.
It's a weird life I lead. It's been a pretty shitty year. And paying for this dog to have a mastectomy has not been one of the highlights of it.
It's a weird bill to get.
Anywho, guys ready for the rest of this?
I think so.
All right.
That's a really good question, Roscoe B. Soul Train.
Yes, what color ribbon is it for dog breast cancer? It's pretty good.
Yep.
I hope it's maroon.
Now my cats are cleaning each other in the background.
The legs straight up, clean.
No,
Nice.
they're licking each other's necks like it's some sort of fight.
Oh.
Fighting in a minute.
Alrighty. Alright. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week for October 19th, 2015. Tales of Zetria for the PS4, PS3, PC.
I know nothing about that game other than it's another Tales game.
Another one?
They're just. It's funny now that we're getting them in North America. We see how many Tales games there legitimately are. They just pump those things out.
I just remember Tales of Symphonia coming out on GameCube and me going like, "Oh, what is this thing?" And that was all I knew about the Tales series.
Yep.
Is this still like the Tales of Asperia people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
It plays about the same. Each one is
banging them out.
pretty much the same.
Nice.
Alrighty. Hey, the Oregon Trail, the complete edition from the PS4 and Vita.
I'm very excited for this because I've never played Oregon Trail before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the PS Plus game for this month too. So I'm excited to see where they have taken the Oregon Trail formula and how they've put zombies in it.
I'm sure it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's live for 3 PS4, 360, XBO, and Wii U.
I recently canceled my pre-order for this because I am not playing Rock Band 4, so why would I buy another Plastic Instrument game?
I think you're starting to learn your lesson.
I'm just might be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Doubt it though.
Alrighty, Overlord, Fellowship of Evil for the PS4, XBO, and PC.
I'm excited for this game.
I kind of am too, because I kind of really like the Overlord series.
Yeah, I know it's not like Overlord 1 and 2. It's more like a 4-player brawler, but those are fun, usually.
Yeah.
Overlord is funny.
Yeah.
Let's put the two of them together.
I do like that world.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate for the XBO, PS4, and PC.
It's coming out on PC the same day?
That's what the listing is, but it's Ubisoft, so it could
Probably
be
not.
Tuesday morning, and they're like, oh, actually, delayed until January.
Yeah, that seems more likely.
Yeah, so I will not be purchasing this game until I finish Unity, which will not be for a while.
I will not be purchasing this game.
Probably a safe bet.
No qualifiers there.
Yeah.
You know what? I might throw my hat in the ring. Why not?
There you go.
since I'm having so much fun with video games.
Yeah.
You've got to get at least one this year, Knobs. Make this your one.
One what?
Life is Strange.
One win.
Life is Strange is his win so far. As long as they don't screw up episode 5, that's the one in the good column.
Okay, fair enough.
This has been a bad year. Zelda Triforce Heroes for the thirds.
I think that looks pretty interesting, but nobody I know has a 3DS, so I won't be buying that.
What is that one?
That's the 3-player Zelda. It's like 4 Swords.
Yes.
With 3 players and dungeons and multiplayer and that whole thing.
But can you hook it up to your Wii U?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably has Amiibo support too. Who knows?
You gotta get one of those weird 3DS to Wii U cables.
Yeah. Otherwise known as Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
That was such a weird time for Nintendo when they were doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying stuff out. Just keep throwing it against the wall and see what works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept the money for it, so why
right.
not? Life is Strange, episode 5. Hooray.
Just don't screw it up, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope it jumps the shark. That would be the icing on the cake for me.
You only got one more episode to put out. Just don't screw it up.
It's out, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Tales from the Borderlands, episode 5. That wraps that one up too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So depending on how well episode 1 goes for me, I'll probably pick up the season pass and just.
So far, each episode gets better than the last.
Nice.
So it's a quality ride the whole time through.
Alrighty.
All right, moving on to news stories. We got a hot rumor this week from the Wall Street Journal about Nintendo's codename NX console. They're saying that it might be a console and a handheld at the same time.
What?
So it almost seems like it's the extension of the Wii U, where you have kind of the home console version. You know, for the Wii U, it's kind of the thing you hook up to your TV. And it almost seems like, using the Wii U analogy, the gamepad would go with you outside.
Yeah.
And you would kind of, that would be your handheld, but it also hooks up to the home console. So interesting.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
interested to see what they do with that.
I think we've been asking for a while, like, okay, the 3DS is pretty well seasoned at this point. What are you gonna do next? And how would they balance eating into their home console market with handhelds? And if you just sell both at the same time, that seems like a good way to resolve that issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. And the other thing Wall Street Journal was saying is it'll use industry-leading chips. I don't really know what that means, unless you're putting an i7 in there. I don't.
So does that mean console industry-leading chips, or does that mean just
I almost wonder if
chips?
that's them saying, like, hey, the Wii U, yeah, we know. Everybody knows. We're not doing that again.
Okay. Maybe.
Sounds like
I
a
don't
Donald
know.
Trump argument.
Yeah.
I mean, winning. Yeah.
Yeah. Leading chips.
I'm interested to see what the price point of something like this is going to be. If they, if you think about the timeline, it's going to be out. It's going to be out probably 2017, 2018, right?
Probably, yeah. There's a rumor out now that they're sending out dev kits. So if anything, maybe late 2016, but probably 2017. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be under whatever a premium Android tablet would cost. I think it'd be anywhere between $200 to $300.
Yeah, I hope it is, but there's a part of me that's thinking, like, well, if it's both, are they going to, join the 500 club like Sony and Microsoft?
I don't think they
have
can
done?
afford to.
No,
No?
I don't
No.
think their price. I don't think their product would probably command that price. Just the fact that it has Nintendo on it, that people are assuming that it's more of a value product versus a premium product.
Yeah, because when you look at the PS4 and the Xbox One, those, for about the first year or so, are really premium home console products.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the market for Nintendo products, I think they are family and kid focused. They are pretty rugged when you're looking at handheld devices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they are reasonably priced. You know, they're not $100, but they're also not usually $300. You know, they'll be $250, $275, but they'll never be $299.99. You know, it's never all the way up there.
It'll be the gap between the Leapfrog and the Samsung Galaxy series. It'll be in that middle ground.
Okay,
I mean,
gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good. That's where Nintendo wants to be. It wants to be at the point where it's sort of like, well, I could get this new Samsung Galaxy, or Nintendo has a thing out now. I like Mario. You know, there's so much brand familiarity that I feel like for John Q. Street Fighter fans, still, they can get a Nintendo console and know, cool, there's going to be a Zelda game. I liked those. There's going to be a Mario game. Those are great. There's probably a Mario Kart. I had fun with those on the N64. You know, there's still, as much as, you know, the hardcore gaming community sort of crap talks them for releasing the same, you know, standby games, that's what the general populace are looking for. They're excited when another Mario Kart comes because they haven't played the last 20 of them.
Yeah.
They didn't own a Game Boy Advance or a DS, but they bought a Wii or a Wii U, and they were going to play Mario Kart, and they're going to buy a wheel, and they're going to move that thing in the air, and they're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't blame them.
I just, you know, if it's going to be a handheld and it's going to be a home console, is it going to be, is the chips going to be sitting in one part of it, or is it going to be sitting in both? Like, where are they going to, how are they going to engineer it?
And I think that's what's always interesting about Nintendo's solutions is I feel like they have creative engineering solutions to weird problems that maybe they make up themselves.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, it almost introduces new problems. Like, you know, I buy this and I want to be able to take the handheld with me, you know, when I go out somewhere and play a game against my friend. Like, you know, new Pokemon comes out and you want to go trade, but you know, a new Mario's out and my wife wants to play, so can I take it with me and she can still play Mario and I can go do my thing? Like, what's the, you know, that's gonna be the interesting thing for me. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and that's what's so exciting about new Nintendo hardware releases is they show this thing on stage and you look at it and you go, this is crazy. It has two screens. Who needs that? Yeah, and then you go, oh yeah.
And then a year later, you're like, this thing is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's crazy how they did that thing. Now it does 3D without glasses. Who needs that? Whoops, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next news story here. Whoops, I just closed out chat on Twitch. Sorry, chat. Nintendo. We were talking about Telltale a little bit earlier. The games with gold this month for 360 and Xbox One is Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 plus 400 days. So
nice.
If you want to play one of the best adventure games to come out in a while, you can go get it for free.
Yep.
With an asterisk on the end. I understand. Don't write in. But that game is really great. And even if you don't like...
Did you play 400 Days?
No, I never got around to it.
Never touched it.
I heard it was really good. But, you know, I think for me, and I never played Season 2, because I feel like for me, Season 1 was kind of all I needed.
Yeah.
You know, like, that was a self-contained story, and it ended, I was like, well, that was really good. I don't want to sully that now.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling V to Vikings.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm sending out my Viking signal.
Just the horn blast, just
yeah. Fallout 4 will have Vita remote play specific controls.
Yes.
And they're designed by Josh Hamrick, who did the Destiny remote play control scheme.
Yes. Oh, that's
I knew that would mean
news.
Something to you, because I read that and I was like, okay.
Because that Destiny remote play control scheme, it's hot. It's real good.
And I feel like this is really important because not only is Fallout 4 an important release for consoles this year, but I feel like if you do it right, it could be a really great example of when remote play works, how great it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Fallout, haven't seen that much of Fallout 4. I'm trying not to watch a lot of it. A lot of it is sort of, okay, I'm going to start in this area, and I'm just going to kind of wander and see what happens. That sounds like it's pretty great for remote play. So you can just hang out on the couch and just wander around whatever they're going to call the wasteland this time. Probably the wasteland.
Yeah. Well, and the other point is, like, there's so much crafting to be done in this game.
Oh, right.
Maybe you're watching something and you're building your house or whatever. You're building some guns.
That's true.
You know, you don't want to, do all that stuff in the main game. Maybe just leave that for when you're, watching some TV. Got a little bit of time, multitask it up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, good on you, Remote Play and Bethesda.
Yeah, like it's nice to see another company really taking the time to craft a remote play control scheme. We'll see how it actually works. For all we know, like this dude made the one for Destiny, and it was just like, oh yeah, this really works really well, and it was like a fluke.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can prove himself with this, but I'm excited.
Next news story here. We don't always talk a lot about new Kickstarter releases because there's a lot of them. But I thought this one was really interesting. So a company by the name of, let me pull up the Kickstarter page here because I forget their name, Gun Media.
Gun Media?
Gun Media.
And you forgot that.
Well, doesn't really stick in the brain. They have managed to get the Friday the 13th license. So they are kickstarting a campaign for making an asymmetric multiplayer game where it's 8-player, 7 people are camp counselors, and 1 person is Jason.
Awesome.
Nice.
That genuinely sounds pretty cool.
It sounds interesting. This sounds more interesting now that I heard it out loud than it did when I...
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting case for asymmetric multiplayer, because they're saying that Jason is overpowered, but the camp counselors can pretty easily work together, and then they can escape. Jason wins when he kills all of them, obviously, but they can escape either by boat or they can fix some telephones and call off at a camp, and there's like one other way you can escape. And the real interesting thing too, they say, and this might change, it's just a Kickstarter. They're saying that they're not going to do any bots because bots are dumb and you kind of need really great cooperation to escape from Jason. So that could be interesting. I don't know if that would hurt or help the lifespan of it. Dimebag315 in chat says, and Adam Sessler is a part of this, which I had forgotten. For some reason, he's kind of thrown his hat in the ring to represent this game, kind of. So that's pretty interesting.
For sure.
I think that sounds like a cool idea. I'm glad they're not making like a survival horror Friday the 13th game where you can't kill Jason. It's just Resident Evil 3, basically.
Yeah.
Jason Isolation.
I'm going to go make that game. Let me write that down.
Yep.
But if this method works, you know how many of these things are set around like camps? You have like sleepaway camp and have Nightmare on Elm Street. You can have a group play that game.
Well, and it's also
let's just do a Monster Squad. Oh, that'd be great.
But it's also kind of interesting because they're taking the idea that Evolve had, but kind of flipping it backwards, where instead of you hunting the monster, Jason is hunting all of the camp counselors. So,
okay,
I think that could be kind of neat. So it seems like the Kickstarter is doing pretty well. Roscoe P. Soul Train's chat gives us the obvious answer for an asymmetric horror multiplayer, which is Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yes.
I don't know how we don't have one of those yet.
Right.
But that would be
Give
amazing.
it a minute.
So that one's going to be kind of neat. I'm curious to see how that goes. Next news story here, the Xbox One wireless controller dongle finally comes to PC this week.
Cool.
Only $25.
Nice.
Seems to work on only Windows 10, maybe. Someone will hack apart those drivers and put it on Windows 8 within like 12 hours. So
yeah,
that probably won't be a problem. But better late than never. Now they can work on the wireless headset for knobs.
Yeah,
maybe that's next on the list.
You know what? I think I understand why we don't have one yet. Is I think it might be a fidelity problem.
Yeah.
Because the wired headset has such strong fidelity right now through just regular voice chat. And I don't think they can. I don't think they want to put something to market that isn't matching what the wired version is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after they changed. On the 360, that audio codec was not great. On the Xbox One, the audio codec is quite a lot better because they're using the Skype one. So that would make a lot of sense, yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Personally, that was my opinion. Because after I started thinking about it some more, like I really think the fidelity of the quality call or the quality of the actual VO is probably where their hang up is right now to get that on their wireless code.
Yeah. And last news story this week, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 had a little bit of a news story this week where they are, as soon as you pop the single-player disc in, if it has a disc, I don't even know, you have all of the levels available to you. You don't need to play sequentially through the story anymore. You just want to see the ending of that game, hop right into the last level and finish that guy out.
Huh.
I think that's interesting.
That's weird, but...
Well, I mean, when you think about Call of Duty, who really cares about the single player? You know, I wonder how much longer they're going to keep making a single player for Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think people care more about, all right, I want the zombies mode, and I want the multiplayer, but I want all these modes. You know, I feel like them investing their time in making another multiplayer mode might serve them better than dumping more cash into a single-player mode.
Well, then would a multiplayer-only game be cheaper than a full retail release if it has no single-player value?
No.
See, that's... I would imagine it's a lot cheaper to design multiplayer maps than it is to craft the story event.
But I think you have to think about the underlying engineering to do, like, the networking code, the matchmaking code, get all the servers up and running. You know, there's, like, a lot of infrastructure and base-level code that not a lot of people see that is probably a pretty significant investment each and every time.
But isn't a lot of that one and done depending on multiplayer modes?
Yes.
What was that, sorry?
Isn't that a lot of that one and done once you decide you have multiplayer? Like, it doesn't have to be specific for each mode.
I don't play Call of Duty, so...
I don't know. I can just see that argument holding some water with a lot of people.
But I think when you look at a Call of Duty, I think there's also a market perception of... Remember on the original Xbox when Phantom Dust came out and it was $20, brand new?
Yeah.
A lot of people looked at that and went, budget title. It's like, no, we just didn't have to do much to localize it, so we didn't charge $50. And they went, yeah, but I mean, it probably sucks because it's $20. I think when you look at Call of Duty, you might be able to get it down to 50.
Yeah.
But I think if it goes down to 40, the market might be like, gotta be missing something, right, guys? Like, there's not a lot of maps in there.
Treyarch shenanigans again.
And then to put on top of that, there's probably gonna be a season pass that would be as much, if not more, as the disc you just bought. Yeah. So there's a lot of weird market perceptions around this, but I think this is an interesting idea. They said that they took a lot of inspiration from House of Cards, and when it comes out on Netflix, it's just the whole season. And if you want to watch episode 3 for some reason, you can. You know, you can just do whatever you want, and you don't. I think that's a really weird.
It's a really weird justification for that.
Yeah.
Well, no, it makes sense. The season dump. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
If they want to, marathon that watch or marathon that play, they can. But if they want to get to the parts they really want to see, or they want to see the set pieces, they don't have to go through all the BS to get there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So in the news story here, Jason Blundell, whose title is Director of Campaign and Zombies Mode, says, quote...
Coolest title ever.
I would like that on my business card. Quote, when Netflix releases House of Cards and do all the episodes, does everyone just jump to the end and go play the last episode? Sure you can, but it's about the journey though, right? End quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I think that's interesting. I've seen some news stories this week of people being like, they should do that for everything, including RPGs. It's like, that might be a little bit too much of a leap, but...
You know what? For some RPGs, I could justify being like, okay, I don't want to start over. but I
Right.
kind of want to start over, but I kind of don't want to have that first like 5 hour experience.
I would kind of like that for some platformers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
ultra hard ones where it's like, I physically cannot do this level. I would like to finish this game, but I can't. I just need to skip it. I just need to move on. I can't do this level.
Yeah,
So that'd be interesting.
for sure.
All right, let's move on to emails.
Emails.
Ian K writes in, Boston Knobs and the Hannah. Hi.
Hey.
Below is a link to a Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 article that claims after a 15-month study that the plane was shot down by a Russian missile. I promise this is a video game thing. As you know, something similar occurs at the beginning of Alpha Protocol. As games have become more realistic, how often do you think these sort of things are going to occur in gaming? Is gaming as a medium equal to film as art reflecting real life? I think when
I
you
think
look
that's a
at
coincidence.
I think
Yeah.
when you look at Alpha Protocol, I think they were... Russians in media are typically portrayed as easy bad guys.
Yep.
So it's an easy cliff notes for saying, well, the bad guys did something to good guys with a and then they plucked plane and missile out of a hat and said, here we go. There you go. I think that's more of a coincidence, but I don't know. I think that's always been happening.
You know, if the bad guys are looking at Alpha Protocol for bad ideas,
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I mean, go and look back at Deus Ex. The game came out in 1998. There is a bunch of stuff in there about the Twin Towers. There's a bunch of there's an entire level where you go through the Statue of Liberty, which has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And like literally, the head of the Statue of Liberty is sitting in like a separate place from the statue.
Yeah.
So you know, you're gonna. It depends on the type of game, I think, and it's no coincidence that Deus Ex and Alpha Protocol are two of that type of game. They're rooted somewhat in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, they have their bases in the real world, and then they extrapolate from that. Alpha Protocol much more than Deus Ex is based in the real world.
I think they're more or less pulling more probable ideas than something that would be like, oh my god, aliens landed and this is what happened.
Yeah, it's more like, okay, we're in the Middle East and there's a war going on. This would have probably happened to start some sort of conflict.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, like they're all very plausible scenarios.
Yeah.
That could possibly come to be. Be like, well, I can't imagine looking back. It's like, look, Alpha Protocol predicted this. Like,
Yeah, that Stonehenge was gonna blow up.
I will never look at a Tide bottle the same way now.
That's true.
But
Man, Alpha Protocol.
Man.
All right, next email comes from Ghost Underground titled Co-op Gaming. Hey guys, loving the show. Thank you.
Thanks.
I've got a question for you. My girlfriend's interested in getting into gaming because it's important to me, but she's never really played much more than Lego games. So my question is this: other than Lego, what would you recommend for us to try? I've thought about games like Knack. Please don't. Knack is bad.
No.
And Chariot. Please don't. Chariot is hard. I'm restricted to PS3 and PS4 games. Any suggestions are highly appreciated.
Diablo 3.
uh,
Fantastic couch co-op.
That's not a bad one.
no, that's not a bad one. But if you're looking for chick bait for games, any adventure games. No, I'm serious. Like Telltale, like any of those Telltale games.
Yeah.
Literally, let them make the decisions. They will have equally as you'll have to do the mechanical parts of it to where character maneuveration, manipulating puzzles and whatnot, because that's the areas that they'll be frustrated in. But if they're making
They're not
the
used to
decisions,
games.
that's a great gateway to get them engaged into digital medium.
And that's why I would recommend against Knack, because for a first time, for someone who's playing games for the first time, no dual stick stuff, no first person shooters. Knack has some really, it looks like a kid's game, but it has some really exact platforming at parts that's really unforgiving with checkpoints. I feel like that's going to be more frustrating than anything else. Something like a Telltale game, it's a lot of decisions, there's some action stuff, but the checkpointing is really good for action stuff. If you fail, they'll put you like right back to just before you do the action scene.
Yeah.
So even if she decides to play it herself, and you two sit on the couch and make decisions together, it's probably a pretty good starting point for navigating the controller and getting used to it. Because I think a lot of people forget how complicated these controllers are.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So starting out with something like that, and Diablo 3 is a good choice too, because you can change the difficulty on the fly. So if
Yeah.
you get into something that's starting to get real hairy, just pump down the difficulty. You can just start mowing through that game.
Yeah, and there's some other options, like if Diablo doesn't, like if it's an aesthetic that's not appealing to her, but maybe, she likes superheroes. Maybe she's into, like, the Marvel superheroes. The Marvel Ultimate Alliance games were really good.
That's a good one.
And those are a lot of fun, a lot of recognizable characters, easy jumping on points. And let's not forget, if you got a PS3, the Rock Band games, you can still go out and buy used instruments and buy the old Rock Band games and have a ton of fun.
That's true, and they're cheap.
That's
Yeah.
right, Cooper.
Two good suggestions from chat here. Donbag315 says the Tomb Raider downloadable games, the co-op puzzle ones, those are really good. I really liked that first one. My wife and I haven't played the second one yet, Temple of Osiris.
Yeah.
Haven't played that one yet, but it looks like it's more of the same. Slug Jones recommends Until Dawn. If you guys like horror stuff, Until Dawn
Yeah.
is a really good, like, hey, are we going to let this person live or die? You're basically playing a horror B-movie.
Yeah.
It's not co-op, but it's not co-op in the same way that Telltale games aren't.
Yeah.
So.
You can also do the Rayman games, Rayman Legends and Origins.
Oh, yeah. Those
Yeah,
are good
those are a
choices.
lot of
Those are
fun.
great games.
Maybe a little. I mean, it's less complicated because you don't have 3D to contend with, and you're only using like one stick or the D-pad.
Yeah.
But there's some tough platforming. Not platforming, but there's some tough sections in some of those games.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of tough. I'm trying to think of any PS3 stuff. There's probably a lot of downloadable games that are really great.
Yeah.
A lot of the arcade stuff that's on there, because PS4 co-op is pretty slim pickings right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if there's a ton I could recommend right now. Don't make the mistake and don't play Portal co-op. I know that
No.
sounds like a good idea. It is not.
It wasn't.
It's a relationship killer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend the site cooptimus.com if you're looking for
Yes.
stuff. It's co-optimus.com.
Yeah, they're really focused on, here are great co-op games, and here's why this game is great. Here's who it's great for.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, good suggestion. All right, let's move on to our last email here from Bilsiford.
Hey.
Hey guys, I've been playing some games lately with character customization, Skyrim, Kings of Amalur, or The Sims. So my question is, how do you guys do character customization? Do you model them after yourselves, or do you go full crazy? Thanks for the great show, guys. See you online. I never make myself in these games. Like, I make someone, if I can pick like a female character, I'll pick a female character and customize that.
Mm-hmm.
But I never make myself, unless it's like a Tiger Woods game. Then I'll try and make myself, because then that seems fun.
Because that seems hilarious.
Yeah, I'm hitting the links.
I will occasionally. The only time I got really deep into character customization was when I was making characters for Soul Calibur 4.
Oh,
because that was stupid amounts of fun. Like we were doing stuff like I tried to make the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Voldo, which was a ton of fun.
But would you ever make yourself?
I doubt it. I mean, like when I played Skyrim, I made it was almost by accident, but I was just trying to make the most Viking-looking Viking I could.
Yeah.
And it ended up looking like the lead singer of Amon Amarth.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think the only one I ever really got into, or really heavily customization, was probably DCO.
Yeah.
DCUO.
DCUO, yeah.
Whatever it was. That was a lot of fun, but most of the time I just kind of pick, this is close enough. Let's go.
Or like, that dude looks cool. Like I hit a random one, and that seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he mentions here in The Sims. The Sims is the only game where I will never make anybody that looks anything like anyone I know. I think that's weird. I can't. I don't want to be like playing with these little figures that look like people I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I never really enjoyed that.
Actually, character not like looks wise, but I did use a mod for XCOM to suck in all of my friends' names from Facebook, so that my squad was named after people I knew.
Oh, nice. That makes sense.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
It kind of hurt a little when you lose some of those people though in combat. You're like, ooh, oh, they're dead now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't post to my wall. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the emails we have this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us, tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. Everything is on the right-hand side of the page.
And don't forget to join the forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. Join us for our week of game night. Monday night is Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One, 10 p.m. EST. Tuesday's Destiny night. Wednesday, Rocket League. Thursday, Steam game night. And Friday is, if we're online, come find us. We'll play something.
Yeah.
Cool. Current TVGP Game Club game is Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, not it.
I kind of don't have to play that one. I've beaten that like a dozen times. I'm probably going to run through it anyway.
Yeah.
Not it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be, that's recording the 29th of October. We'll be live here. The new voting thread with a bunch of new suggestions from the community is going up in the next couple of days. So if you have some suggestions you want to put them in the thread on the forums. We'll throw them in the hat and we'll see what comes out.
Yeah, we've got some nice ones that have that members have suggested lately.
Yeah, and remember, we're looking for not necessarily big games. We're looking for maybe stuff that's gotten looked over, maybe stuff that, you really like, but you don't know a whole lot of people that really enjoy it on the same level you do.
It's like when we were talking last week about the Saboteur,
Syndicate.
we all went like,
Yeah.
oh, the Saboteur. I missed that. Those type of games where it's sort of like, oh, right, I never got around to that because there was Red Dead was out, there's this other game out, and you just kind of never got to this thing in your pile.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And don't forget you can watch this show live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. If you have never watched the pre-show / break stuff, you're really missing out.
You really
You
are.
can see my dog wearing a shirt. Why not? And one of my cats. And everybody else's dog, too.
And Cooper, who is currently biting my hand because he wants to play.
Yeah, normal stuff. And that's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers.
Peace. You maniac. This is why I don't take his leash off.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I have two titles.
What do you got?
Pew Pew Pew, I'm in space. And Use My Pinky to Crouch, which is one I like a lot.
Yeah, Dime suggested that in chat. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. I'll get you. I got a few here. We've got Dude Stuff. Instead of Bang Bang, it's Pew Pew Pew.
Yeah.
Headphones Kid. Apparently a Tank. My Only Semblance of Joy. Use My Pinky to Crouch. Kinda Not Well Geared Enough. You're a Madman, Hannah. We'll Be Sad Together. A Murderin' Tool. Release Cadence. Help Me Clean My House. Whoops, that's pretty cool. Don't Write In. Jason Isolation. And Chick Bait.
So I like... hold on, I gotta write this down. I like Use My Pinky to Crouch or Jason Isolation.
Ooh, I like Jason Isolation.
Yeah. Hi, Cooper.
Say hi, buddy. Oh, yeah, now that you're on camera, you're behaving. Okay.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
I'm a good dog. All right, I'm going to pick Jason Isolation, I think.
All right.
I don't know why I was expecting a casting couch behind you.
It's not show friendly.
That is the exact opposite room from
Come
what
on, Papa!
Yeah. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 417 for October 19th, 2015. Jason Isolation.
Baby Kevin Bacon!
Machete to the face.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching.